lesson 11.6, slope. Slope of a non-vertical line, you can just write down what it says, is the ratio of its vertical change to its horizontal change. Think of slope as like a roof of a house. Slope is what the horizontal and vertical change of from this point of the roof to the very tip of the roof. Or if you have a mountain from here to here, what's the slope? Like if you're skiing, we use slope because obviously like a little bunny hill is going to be a different slope than like a black diamond hill. Rise is the vertical change between 2 points, where run is the horizontal change. So rise is the vertical change between 2 points, run is the horizontal change. I always remember it because rise is vertical, like I'm rising up out of bed. Run is horizontal, like I'm running across the road. Finding slope. A waterslide rises about 15 inches vertically for every 12 inches horizontally. First of all, you need to understand that slope is rise over run. So this is very important. Rise over run. You will hear me say this a lot. So that, remember, that is your vertical change over your horizontal change. So rise is about 15 inches vertically, so that's in your numerator, and 12 is in your horizontals. So just write down. Simplify this and keep it as an improper fraction. Keep improper. The reason why we want to keep it improper is because I want to see what the rise versus the run is. So keep it improper. Has a slope of 5/4. Here's how you find the slope of a line. So here's a line. We have 2 points. Here's 1 point, x comma y, and that's why they put the little ones here, because it's the first point. And then here's your second point. It doesn't really matter which one's your first point and which one's your second point, as long as you understand that there's 2 different points. So you're taking the rise over the run. Before I tell you the formula, let's talk about what the rise is. Let's even write this over here. Rise is either positive, which is going up, or negative, which is going down. The run is either right, which is positive, or left, which is negative. Here's the formula that we use for slope. You also might want to understand that it's the change in y over the change in x. So it's your y over your x. That's always hard for people to grasp, is that the y's are on top. The slope of the line is the same no matter which 2 points you choose to use in the formula. So let's find the slope of the line. There's 2 ways to find the slope of a line. Let me first show you how to use the formula. So here's the formula that they use. Now, you're probably thinking, well, what's the 2 and the 1 mean? Remember, this is the second point, this is the first point. But it honestly doesn't matter which one's which. So let's just pick, well, let's actually label our points right now. So this is 2, 1. This is, go over 5, up 8. 5, 8. Now we want to take one of the y's. So remember, the y's are the second numbers. The x's are the first. So let's take one of the y's. I'm going to actually just pick the 8. It really doesn't matter which one you pick. I'm going to pick the 8, subtract the other y. So that's the 1. So I have already used this 8 and this 1. Now, the x does matter. The x has to belong with the y I chose at the beginning. So here's the 8. Go back up to where the 8 was. What is the x that belongs with it? 5. Subtract the x, which is 2. Now we subtract. 8 minus 1 is 7. 5 minus 2 is 3. And that's our answer. 7 over 3. Because remember, we want to keep it improper. Let me show you another way to do it. And that is actually taking, if you have a graph, it only works if you have a graph. You can take the first point, which is usually the furthest left, and try to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going 7 up and 1, 2, 3 right. So my up is my rise, which is 7. My run is 3. So there you go. There's also 7/3. So for part B, let's try the formula one more time. First, we need to identify our points. Use the formula. So pick a y. Remember, it's y's over x's. Pick a y, and you can use whichever y you want, minus the other y. So I've used the 7, I've used the 1. Now, what x belongs with the 7? So in the same ordered pair as the 7. Well, the 7 was up here, so I'm going to use the x of 1. And then I'm left with minus 6. 7 minus 1 is 6. 1 minus 6 is negative 5. This is a negative slope. You can tell it's a negative slope, so my answer is going to be negative 6/5. You can see that if I'm going from this point to this point, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to stop when I get to the line with the other dot. That's down 6. Because it's going down, it's negative 6. And then right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have negative 6/5. Now this time you don't have graphs, so you want to use this formula. Remember, I don't really care what your second point is versus your first point, but just pick one of the y's. I always try to pick the bigger y. For example, number 1, I'm going to pick 5. Then I'm going to subtract 2. What belongs with the 5 was a 5. Remember, it's y's over x's. So my x's are on the bottom. Minus 0. You have 3 over 5 minus 0 is 5. 3/5. Please pause the video, try 2 and 3. See Mrs. Shea or a teacher to check 2 and 3. In example 3, we have a vertical line. So if we look at the points, this point is over 4, down negative 1, and this is over 4, 6. You can see they both have an x term of 4. So when we plug it into the formula, we have 6 minus negative 1 and 4 minus 4. Well, 6 minus negative 1 is 7, and 4 minus 4 is 0. Because you have a 0 on the bottom, this is called undefined. If you actually put in 7 divided by 0 in your calculator, you're going to get an error button. If you get that error button, we call this slope undefined. The reason we say that is there is no slope. Because could you walk on this line? Could you walk on a line that's vertical? No. There is no slope, so it's undefined. In part B, we have a horizontal slope. Looking at the points, let's put it into the formula. You have the same y's this time, because remember, y over x and then I can subtract. I have 0 over 5. Well, 0 over 5 is just 0. That slope is called 0. The difference between these two is I could actually walk on this line. This one, I can't walk on the line. I'd be falling down. So, summary of the slopes. See how this guy looks like he's walking up? That's a positive slope. If it starts from looks like it's falling from left to right, looks like it's going down, it's a negative slope. Horizontal line, you can see he's walking on the slope, it's 0. Here he's falling, it's undefined. That is the end of the lesson.